But first, let's go to Connor Powell. He's live in Amman, Jordan. Connor, thanks for joining us. What happened today in Jordan?
Well, across the country, Jamie, we saw strong support for King Abdullah and the Crown, and also for the military and for the family of the fallen Jordanian pilot, Muath al-Qasasbeh. We saw rallies, all peaceful, all sizable across the country, on large displays of support for the government and an anti-ISIS really feeling across the country. The country here is sort of united in their anger and the brutality of that video that showed Muath al-Qasasbeh being burnt alive. We're also hearing support for wider military engagement by the people of Jordan for continued airstrikes to pound ISIS in both Iraq and in Syria. And that's really the big news in the last 24 hours. We're hearing that in addition to the increased number of airstrikes, the Jordanian military is now conducting airstrikes and has been for the several weeks now in Iraq. And that's an expansion of the military presence of Jordan in both countries. And that really is the only visible sign we've seen so far, Jamie, of the expansion of the fight against ISIS by Jordan so far.
Well, I want to ask you about the reports as well for support for ISIS in Jordan. How does the government deal with that?
Yeah, for the last year or so, there have been visible and vocal displays, very small but visible and vocal displays of support for ISIS in Jordan. It's a country that is deeply conservative, deeply religious, and has a history of an Islamic extremism population, particularly with ties to al-Qaeda. What we're seeing here in recent weeks, before the death of Qasasbeh and even after, is that the king and the country seem to be saying they're drawing a line between Islamic extremists, groups like the Muslim Brotherhood, and even people with ties to al-Qaeda, saying that you are with us or you are with ISIS. And what we're seeing from groups like the Muslim Brotherhood and even some al-Qaeda-linked people who have been released from Jordanian prisons here in the last few months is there is a movement to say ISIS is too extreme even for us that are generally considered Islamic extremists. And the government is trying to sort of draw this line and say, you can be part of the state, you can be deeply conservative, you can be deeply religious, but if you're part of our society, part of our government, you have to be anti-ISIS. And so far, Jamie, we are seeing that work to some extent. The population support, whether it be small or very, very remote, for ISIS has really disappeared in recent weeks and months, and the government here is doing a masterful job of really drawing a line and circling ISIS as out of the mainstream here.
Lots more to talk about this. Bill has more. Thank you so much, Connor.